Alright, happy Friday the 13th everyone, and I am back with another Friday the 13th video. So it's been a little while since I've covered something on Friday the 13th. There were two last year, but I only did the first one, but I definitely wanted to do something for the Friday the 13th this year, since June 13th is indeed the birthday of Jason Voorhees. And of course, you know, when the original Friday the 13th came out and all that. So today I wanted to rank all of the masks from Friday the 13th. Whether it's the hockey mask or the sackhead, the imposter Jason, or the dream Jason, also from part 5. Now, I am going to try to judge the masks on their own, not trying to take the whole design into account, just the mask. I will mention stuff about the whole design, the whole look, if I feel like it's necessary, but for the most part, I'm really just trying to look at it as a mask. Now, one thing I want to put out there, the masks from Friday the 13th part 3 through part 7, though I guess ignoring part 5, A New Beginning, are meant to be the same mask. So it's just kind of funny here discussing how different some of these can really look, even though they're kind of meant to be the same one. But hey, continuity in these movies. I just want to throw that out there before getting into it. I have 13 spots here, and starting at number 13 is the mask from Freddy vs. Jason. This is one that has always looked just a little weird to me. I don't really know what it is. Sometimes it looks like it kind of holds on to the sides of his face a little too much, then sometimes it looks a little wide. Some of this, and granted, there are some outside factors into this, like how I've said before, I'm not the biggest fan of the portrayal of Jason here. I'm not really a fan of the overall look, because in my ranking video for the overall design, this one was also pretty low on the list. I don't believe this is a terrible mask. I don't really think any of them were bad per se. Just definitely doesn't really do it for me. Which sucks because I do like the movie a lot. It's just Jason did kind of disappoint me on the whole. Then next up at number 12 is the Dream Jason from Friday the 13th Part 5, A New Beginning. It's not bad. I like the look of it when it's got like the worms around the eye holes. I think that's pretty cool actually. I love the fact that the NECA figure can do that. And it doesn't look bad. My only issue is the eye holes seem kind of small to me. I don't know, for me when it comes to the eye holes on any of the hockey masks, you gotta have this good balance of like not being too big but not being too small either. That's what she said. I don't know, I just feel like in some shots it just looks a little small. I don't know. It almost feels weird putting this one above the Freddy vs. Jason one, I guess, because like it's not bad. It looks kind of just like your standard Jason mask, but at the same time this one kind of gives me like I bought this at Walmart vibes. But hey, this is how I wrote it down, so for better or worse, I'm sticking to it. Then at number 11 is also from Friday the 13th Part 5, Roy's mask. Now this one has a decently big switch up in that it has blue chevrons instead of the red. Then not only are they blue, they're also pointing in a different direction. So maybe not the biggest change in the world, but I dig it. I definitely think that it helps sort of differentiate it with the whole imposter Jason deal going on in this movie. Maybe the eye holes are a tad small, but like I feel like it kind of works for this. So not a bad mask, I like it. I just can't really put it up too much higher simply because it's Roy Burns and not Jason. Then next up is going to be Uber Jason from Jason X. Now I actually dig this look a good bit. I kind of feel like it might be a better look for a sci-fi villain instead of a horror movie killer. Again, I've said it before that like I can kind of understand why people say it kind of gives them Power Rangers vibes, but I really do dig this as a mask design. I like how you can clearly tell it's based on the hockey mask, but done in a futuristic way where it doesn't necessarily look like a hockey mask. But I guess for me, given how specific it is to the whole Jason in space thing, like I can't really put it up too much higher than this. Then next up on number 9 we have 2, which is Sackhead Jason from Friday the 13th Part 2 and from the 2009 reboot. I decided to just rate those together because while they look different, they're still going for the same thing, and I didn't really plan on putting one much higher than the other anyway, so they're going to share a slot. I dig the Sackhead look. I do feel like the 2009 one works a bit better than the Part 2 one, even though I do like that one a good bit, but that one has a bit more of like the potato sack, dare I say, pillowcase look than this one truly looking like something that's kind of wrapped around his head. But I do like them a good bit, and I do think they are decently scary for what they are. Yes, even Farmer Jason. Then moving on up to number 8 is going to be Jason from Jason Goes to Hell. Now, as I've stated before in other videos, I like the idea of the mask sort of becoming a part of his body, you know, being embedded in the skin. It's a pretty neat look, and I think the mask itself is kind of cool because it almost has this kind of like, dare I say, semi-metallic look to it. I don't know, it just seems a lot more shiny or reflective the brief amount of times you see it. It has a very worn look that I also think adds to the whole thing. It's definitely not my preferred preferred look or mask for Jason, but I dig it. Then next up at number 7 is the regular look of Jason from Jason X. This one to a degree is kind of your standard Jason look, but the main thing that I like about it and that kind of sets it apart is the more angular look to the mask. The mouth area especially is where you can see it, and it kind of gives me like a Mortal Kombat ninja vibe. So yeah, I like the more angular look of this mask a good bit. Then moving up to number 6, ironically enough, is part 6. This one, it sucks because I kind of want to like it more than I do. I almost feel like I could have ranked this one lower if I'm being completely honest. I do like this one, but a big thing for me is it just looks way too wide in some shots, almost like a plate or something. And then I feel like it also kind of has eye holes that are a tad too small. So yeah, similar to its spot here, I feel like it's pretty middle of the road. It's definitely not a bad mask, but I do feel like for how well regarded this movie is, it could maybe be a little better. Then at number 5 is the mask from Friday the 13th, Jason Takes Manhattan. Now this one is fairly different because it has a bit more of sort of a yellowish kind of look to it, and then the red chevrons on the mask are a bit smaller and kind of a bit more pointed up, and I like that. I think it looks pretty cool. Again, it's like a different enough sort of situation that it's a bit more on the subtle side, I guess, but I dig it. The mask looks good in a lot of the lighting of the film. My only complaint is sometimes the thinner chevrons kind of I don't know, it kind of reminds me of like a thin mustache or something. I hate that I think about that because I know that's dumb, but I don't know, sometimes that's how it looks to me. But I do like this one, and even though I don't tend to like the masks that might look a bit more yellowy, I think this one works pretty well. And then at number 4 is the mask from part 7, The New Blood. So I like this mask a lot. My thing is though, and the only reason why I maybe didn't put it up even a little bit higher, is just because this one I feel works better when you look at it in terms of the whole design of Jason, with just how damaged he is and worn down and shredded he looks, very torn apart. And that plays into the mask as well with all of the damage, just how weathered it is. Of course, you got the part on the left cheek that's broken off. That all looks cool. It's just my thing is I'm not sure it would look good on kind of a standard Jason, but you know, on part 7 where he's got the exposed flesh in his mouth and you can see the rotting teeth and whatnot, it looks sweet. And one thing I want to note too is I love sort of the more ghostly white look of this one, and this is actually the last time we see what is meant to be the original mask, because it finally snaps in half. And I mean, from part 3 to this one is supposed to be the mask that he got from Shelley. Now of course it's changed a good bit because screw continuity, I guess, but that is what it's supposed to be, so that's kind of neat. So yeah, while this one looks great, I just feel it does work a bit better in the context of the whole design, hence why it's a bit lower than the design as a whole was in my last Friday the 13th ranking video. And then funnily enough, at number 3 is part 3. This is the standard, you know, this was the first time the hockey mask appeared, and it looks great. But my only real issue is it has the thing that I'm not really a fan of, where it kind of hugs the side of the head a little too much, but I don't really mind it here because the mask just looks that good. Like, they did a fantastic job with this first one, and there's a reason why it's kind of the go-to to base any of the Jason masks on. If I'm setting some of my bias aside, this is a fairly perfect mask. Then at number 2 is the mask from Friday the 13th, The Final Chapter. Now the main reason I put this one above the part 3 mask is because I like the battle damage done to it. He's got the scuff on the nose, and as the movie goes, he loses the chevrons, or at least the 2 on like the cheeks, along with half of the one on the forehead. It just looks real good here. Now we really have the iconic axe mark in the forehead, and of course the blood and the stuff. It looks so freaking cool, dude. And then I feel like the best shot of it in that movie is when he's going after the guy in the shower and you get the close-up. It just looks so freaky there, man. So yeah, in my opinion, it just kind of takes the benchmark of part 3 and improves upon it a little bit with the weathering and whatnot, and I just think it looks fantastic. And then at number 1 is going to be the main look from the Friday the 13th reboot. I love this one because if I remember correctly, they based this off of the part 3 mask, and they just gave it such a good weathering job. Like, obviously I don't mind ones that are a bit more clean and whatnot, but this one just has a look and it really matches the Jason in the movie, and I just think visually this one looks great. It has everything you want from a Friday the 13th Jason hockey mask, and I honestly think it's the best looking of the more standard Jason looks, where he's not necessarily the zombie yet, or it has like the axe mark in the forehead or anything like that. It just looks so good on its own, and I love it. So yeah, that has been my ranking of the masks from Friday the 13th. I'm sure there are some spots here that could flip-flop, but right now, this is how I'm feeling. But tell me, how would you rank the masks in Friday the 13th. And what do you think about my ranking here? Let me know down in the comments. Before we go, I want to thank my members on Patreon. In my average bird tier, there is Schmoptimus Prime, and in my bird of prey tier, there is Austin Gillis. The channel support is so appreciated, you guys. Thank you. And as always, I want to give a big thanks to everyone for watching, and have a good one.